Well, it's almost over. I can't believe that we are actually finishing the month of Elul together, and it has been a very interesting ride. I've learned so many things by looking at your comments, by interacting with all of you, and so I just wanted to say thank you before the time is here. So some final thoughts that I have. One of the things that I learned actually when I was at Team Day with Dan, he does this event every year with the Tulalip tribes. He had brought a lot of kids up on stage. It was part of this whole trivia contest that they were doing. And the kids, to eliminate them down to the one or two winners, actually had to figure out what is the top 100 most used words in our English language. So, students said things like me or I or they or the, and they had a list and they marked them off. Well, there's two words that don't make the 100 most used words in the English language. The first one was yes. Now, no is on the list, but the word yes is not on the list. And I thought that was a very interesting thing. And then the other word that wasn't on the list is why. And we had some discussion about why before, and that's something I definitely want to explore, hopefully maybe through our Rosh Chodesh group or our Shabbat thought. But the two terms of yes and why, I think, are very powerful words. They bring up a lot of emotion. They bring up a lot of thought. I think that's something we need to consider. So I thought that was kind of an interesting piece. The other thing, as I mentioned before from this book, The Great Leap, that I talked about, was that recently I read about criticism and how criticism is actually an addiction that we all have. We're addicted to criticizing ourselves, to criticizing others. And the reason it's an addiction is because we can't just stop. We're sort of hardwired in some way to criticize ourselves or others. But it stops that positive flow of energy. And that is something that I know going into the high holidays I need to really think about. How often do I criticize myself or criticize others, either in person or in my mind? And what is that doing to affect me and my positive flow? So now we have to get to the real nitty gritty. We're going to have the next, 12 days, because this weekend is Shabbat, and then Sunday night is actually when Tishrei 1 begins, when we light our Yom Tov candles and begin our time of real hope and desire and praying that were written in the book of life. It's time for us to think about our apologies, to think about where have we missed the mark and what Teshuva do we need to do. And so I'm going to, during the next 10 days or 12 days, offer an opportunity for us to either think about doing our Teshuva in a public way on our group, or if you want to do it in a private way, but want to be held accountable, either by just writing something like I did it, or talking to that person now, or wrote the letter, or made the call, or, let it go, or, burnt the thing, or whatever it is. You can keep it kind of vague too. So that way we can kind of really hold ourselves accountable to making sure that we do get this fresh start. So starting Tuesday, we will have that opportunity to really look at what we need to do. The other thing I'm going to offer up, and I will explain this more next week, is every year I write myself a letter for the next year, and I do it during the 10 days. And it's kind of neat. I write it, I seal it, and then I open it up during the 10 days, and I read about where was I a year ago. And this is kind of like the 10Q questions that I showed you earlier. It kind of goes along with that. If you would like to do that this year and then keep it and open it yourself, or if you think, I'm going to lose it or whatever, if you want to send it to me sealed, I will make sure to send it to you next year. So that's another thing that you can do too. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom or wonderful Shabbat and lots of Shalom, lots of peace. And I hope to see many of you at the Erev Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah. And if I don't, then just know that I will be carrying you in my heart. And other than that, I will catch you guys on the flip side in Tishrei. So have a very happy New Year. Lashana Tova. Bye.